What's up, benchwarmers? Welcome to another NFL 2020 predictions. Going with the AFC now, AFC West. We just finished up the NFC West, so by logic, we're going in order. Going with AFC West. Now we're going from top to bottom, first to last, and I'm gonna go over the Chiefs offseason. I'm gonna go 4 games at a time. And starting with the offseason, pretty obvious. They just signed a couple, by the time I'm recording this, just yesterday, signed Patrick Mahomes to that monster deal. I have my own thoughts on this. I don't think it's it could end up being very team friendly in the future, but holy crap, is he getting paid? The $500 million man is what I'm going to be calling him all damn season. I think it's a ridiculous amount of money. I think athletes are way overpaid, and I wish I was one of them. But other than that, their draft was pretty good. I think their first round pick, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think that's his name. I can't remember, but I think he was a very solid pick at running back for them. Even though they've got Damian Williams and Shady McCoy, I think they definitely needed an upgrade, and I think he is that upgrade. LSU has a decent track record with running backs in recent years, even though Leonard Fournette's kind of had a bit of an off time since his rookie year. But that being said, let's get into the first 4 games. So they're obviously going to win week 1. I just don't think the Texans. The Texans got worse. I'll get into that more in their video, but they just got worse. They're not better on defense, and I don't trust them as long as Bill O'Brien stays their coach. COVID. And then week 2, they're going to beat the Chargers. Chargers, I think they got a really good defense. They have a decent offense, but the Chiefs have a decent offense with a decent defense with a really good offense, and I think that means the decent defense is going to be able to overtake Austin Eckler and Tyrod Taylor, because the Chargers are starting Tyrod Taylor. Who knows if they'll start Herbert. I hope the Dolphins and the Chargers do not start their respective rookies until next year. I just think that's a smart move to sit them for at least 1 year. But then they're going to lose to the Ravens. Ravens lost to them last year, so I think it just makes sense that they would win this year. I think these two teams could be an AFC championship. It's Monday night. I'm super excited for it because I was so mad that 2019 I couldn't see this matchup because Lamar versus Mahomes, I knew that was going to be a good game, and it was a pretty good game, and I was so mad that I couldn't see it. I'm so glad I can see it this time, but I'm going to give it to the Ravens. Monday night in Baltimore, Lamar Jackson versus Mahomes. It's going to be really good, but I think the Ravens defense might be able to do something. Now, it's going to be close because Mahomes, this past playoffs proved, doesn't matter how far down he is, he's going to bring that team back, and the offense is good enough to keep up with them. But then they're going to beat the Patriots. Now, the Patriots are going to be a lot better than I thought, than everybody thought at the beginning, because now they have Cam Newton. And that has changed a couple of my predictions, but I'm not going to change any of my videos. I'm keeping them the same. I kind of worked my prediction for the Patriots around Cam Newton while keeping my original stuff, and I think it still works out all right for the predictions. But the Chiefs are going to beat them with or without Cam. Next 4. Now, this is a little bit of a surprise, but, well, not this part, but they're going to beat the Raiders. Raiders, they're improving every year, but they're just not there yet. I personally do like Derek Carr, but he has not had it since 2016. Since he broke his leg, he has not been the same guy. He just hasn't. And I think the Raiders, they do need a new quarterback. And depending on their record, they could get that new quarterback, whether it be Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields. I think either of those guys would be able to elevate that team. Maybe not right away, but within a year or two, perhaps, definitely. But right now, it's the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to be, the powerhouse of the AFC once again. I mean, yes, last year it was the Ravens, but still. But then, bit of surprise, they lose back to back to the Bills and to the Broncos. I think the Bills' defense is going to be either number one or number two, and they're going to be able to contain the Chiefs' offense just enough for the Bills' offense to stay in it. Thursday night in Bills Mafia. Uh, Still don't know if there's going to be fans yet. I think there's going to be fans, but limited. And I think the Bills' offense is going to be a lot better this year. Josh Allen can work on his accuracy a little more. He's got a cannon. He could keep up with Mahomes. He's got the mobility. Mahomes is just a little smarter, so I think this one could also go either way. Just about every Chiefs game could go either way. And the Broncos, this was the real surprise one. I mean, they're not going to sweep their division. It's a very hard thing to do. And, you know, I could have, honestly, when I was doing this, I was like, yeah, Chiefs 16-0, easy. And they very well could. Not going to be easy, but it's so hard to see the Chiefs losing, especially after the past 2 years with Mahomes, where they went 15-1, and then was it 12-4 last year? I'm pretty sure. But either way, they won the Super Bowl, so who cares? So, but the Broncos here, much improved team. I think they're going to be a playoff team this year because they got all new weapons now, basically, with Courtland Sutton, KJ Hamler, and Jerry Jeudy, and at the helm is Drew Lock, Horse Lock, his nickname. Not gonna say it on here because I'm trying to not swear, but I also have Phillip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon gonna be splitting carries, and Royce Freeman, but he's okay. But I think they're gonna be solid. I think their defense not gonna be quite as good as the Super Bowl 50 defense. They haven't been since Super Bowl 50, so there's no reason to really believe that they will be. But then the Jets are going to lose, obviously, to the Chiefs. That's a pretty easy one. Next four. Let's see, week 9. And then they're going to just win those 4. No problems. Panthers, only real threat. I mean, the Panthers are going to be, like... My record for them isn't the best, but they're going to be a good, decent offense. But based on how, we haven't even had training camp yet. Nobody's had any real experience with each other. They have fairly new pieces on that offense. Teddy Bridgewater mainly, and Robbie Anderson as well. It's like they've got the weapons, but the defense needs help, and there's no way their defense can stop the Chiefs' offense. And then we have the Raiders, once again, losing, getting swept by the Chiefs. Kind of the same thing. It's like their offense and their defense, they just aren't quite there yet. They're closer and closer every year since John Gruden has been hired, which kind of is justifying the John Gruden hiring, is that they just keep getting better. Maybe not necessarily record-wise, but you can see the difference. But then they're going to beat the Buccaneers. This one... kind of a toss-up for me. I had that one. Yeah. It was kind of a toss-up. I think the Buccaneers are going to be good, but I still think they're overhyped. But I'm going to give the Chiefs the win here. It's going to be close, depending on Tom Brady, I guess, but I'll give them the win. And then I'm going to give them the win against the Broncos. They're at Arrowhead. The Broncos are not sweeping the Chiefs is the biggest reason. I think they, not that they get lucky with week 7, but it's just not going to happen. Lightning doesn't strike twice. Not with this one. Next 4. The final 4. Ooh. Whoops. So the final 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, okay. I thought I had them going 11-5, but I don't know why. I just had to double check. Okay. But the final 4, they're going to beat the Dolphins. That one's pretty obvious. Dolphins, they're not even close to being there yet. Week 15, this one, the Saints, when I went to do the Saints, I had them 15-1, and I was like, no, I can't have this. Had to redo that because I actually think the Saints are going to begin the regression. Kind of we saw with Tom Brady and the Patriots, last year and 2 years ago. you could see the regression. I think that's going to start happening with Drew Brees. They're going to start transitioning more into Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston, whichever one they want. I think Drew Brees has maybe 1 or 2 years left, and this year's going to kind of show it. But I'm going to give them the win over the Chiefs because it's still two powerhouses. Really, this is what the Super Bowl 52 should have been this. I would have loved that. Everyone would have loved that. This is what Super Bowl 52 should have been, and we're going to get that game. High scoring. And it's the game that should have followed up 51, but it didn't. Or no, 53? Yeah, no, I'm getting... Okay, this is what Super Bowl 53 should have been, and it should have followed up 52. I was mistaken. And then, speaking of Super Bowl 51, they're going to beat the Falcons, and it's not going to be from a comeback. Falcons are going to be a little bit better than what I have the record showing, but they're still not going to be good. This is probably going to be Dan Quinn's last year, even though this year should have been Dan Quinn's last year. And then they're going to beat the Chargers, finishing off the season going 12-4, likely being the number 1 seed. Either that, or it's going to be the Ravens. Kind of depends. We'll see. This website does a decent job of deciding that for me. But let's see what their kind of ceiling and floor could be. So let's start with their floor. Their floor could be really mediocre-ish. Floor, le floor. Yeah, that seems okay. 8-8's their floor, but we all know that is not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Their ceiling, however, 14-2. Their ceiling's 14-2 is very feasible for them. But I'm going to go with 12-4. Keep a little bit of middle ground. You know, don't want to go too all out. I would love to go all out with some of these teams. Everybody 16-0. That's just how it works. Don't know how. It'll figure itself out. But let me know what you think in the comments below. And I will see you next time where we go over the second place in the NFC. God dang it. AFC West.